So you think your water is safe? It really isn't. A lot of people, they drink their tap water and they think it's safe because they don't know any better. And a lot of people drink it because they just don't think they have any choice. But as most of you are probably aware, it's contaminated with a lot of chemicals that they put in it to clean it up. Chlorine, fluorine compounds, THMs, arsenic, radium, aluminum, copper, lead, mercury, cadmium, barium, various types of hormones and nitrates that they dump into it in order to clean it up, pesticides, fluoride. You get the idea. It isn't clean, it isn't safe. People drink it, and maybe you're the type of person that buys bottled water and says, well, I just drink the bottled water. Very often that bottled water is no better. In some cases, it's worse. And even if you only drink bottled water, you're still bathing in the tap water, aren't you? And that's not very good either. Human beings have a very bad habit of contaminating pretty much everything that they touch in an effort to improve it. Government is no better. The tap water isn't safe. Well, then you say, I only drink groundwater. I drink water from a well. Well, I'd hate to break your heart, but that's probably not very good for you either. So, I'm gonna cut through the woods, and I'm gonna take you to a landfill, and I'm going to explain to you why that may not be your best option. Now, this is a landfill, one of many all throughout the South. And where these landfills come from is places like New York and New Jersey and other great majorly liberal states who, in their infinite wisdom trying to save the earth, decided that it was cheaper and more efficient for them to send all of their unprocessed garbage and raw sewage by train to property they purchased in the South. Rather than process it themselves while they sit there and they scream about the earth and global warming, they ship it down here in trains, and they dig a huge hole and fill it up, and when the hole is filled, they pack it and they start mounding it up, as you can see here, and it goes up and up and up. I don't know how well you can tell from the camera shot, but that's what they do. And all the people in this area drink well water. Where I am right now, I'm not going to say exactly where I am, but they drink well water. So when it rains, it goes through this, because you know how groundwater works. It goes through this, through the sewage, through the garbage that's in there, through the chemicals that are used to treat it to mask the smell, because you really can't smell it, I'll give them that. And it goes through the ground and enters the water table. That's how it works. And they're not done here, because they're out here every week. The trains come by and the trucks collect from the cars, and they cart it up there, fill it up in the top, crush it down, put a layer of dirt over it, and pack it down again. That second green level that you see, there's like a little road there, and a second little green level has been added within the last week. That wasn't up there before. The grass grows on it pretty quickly. But that's what you're drinking, folks. That's going right into the groundwater. So if it's being pumped out of the ground by wherever you live, if it's well water, if it's coming out of a lake or a stream or a reservoir, it's coming through a contaminated source. It's coming through a contaminated source, contaminated with sewage, garbage, and chemicals. And we're all drinking it. It's as bad as if the water that's being processed by treatment plants, because this water isn't getting treated. These people who are drinking it out here, it's not being treated. And here we are, like right across from that landfill, and I'm just going to cut right through here. And this is where the lake starts that feeds into all of that well water that everybody in this area drinks. And you can see it, but you can't smell it. I can, and it stinks down here. It smells like shit out here. And that's because all the water from that landfill, all of the rainwater that filters through it, comes right down through here. Gets into this water. And then of course all the people around here are drinking well water. They're pumping it out. And what do you think they're drinking? Rainwater goes through the landfill, filters through all of that sewage and all of that garbage and all of those chemicals that they use to mask it, enters the water table and ends up right down here. And then you drink it. And it doesn't matter if they pump it out of a reservoir or they get it out of a river or where it's coming from. Pretty much everybody is drinking contaminated water. Besides all of the industry and all of the roads, you know, cars leak oil, trains leak oil, they leak fuel, they leak other chemicals. All of that enters the water table. All of the spraying that goes on everywhere I go. I've been in all through the South here recently, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, all those areas, Alabama. Everywhere you go, you see people from the city and state and county walking around, spraying for insects, spraying for ticks, and spraying for mosquitoes, because people are afraid of getting Lyme disease or getting some other disease. And they're just pouring that poison into the ground. Don't think it isn't poisonous. I don't care how safe they say that it is. Roundup is in the middle of a lawsuit right now because they found out it's causing cancer. None of that stuff is ever safe. They said DDT was safe too. Look at that. And the reason that they can't control the fleas and ticks and mosquitoes is because they kill all the natural predators. They kill all the dragonflies, the bats, the skunks, and the possums, and frogs and lizards and everything that eats that stuff. They kill them all. And then there's no natural predators, there's no natural cycle, because that's all man does is just disrupt natural cycles. I hope you can hear me because there's a lot of road work going on out close to here, so there's a lot of vehicles passing by. But this is just disgusting. This is disgusting, and this is what we do. And you're drinking it. So you're either drinking contaminated water, or if you're drinking tap water that's coming from the city, you're drinking water that's been very heavily chemically treated and has all sorts of fluoride and chlorine and other stuff in it that shouldn't be entering your body in the first place. Think about that. Now also, while we're on the subject of things getting poisoned, I don't know if anyone else has noticed a lot more predatory birds have been turning up dead lately. Hawks and eagles and owls. And that's because they've been eating contaminated food. They've been eating rodents that have been poisoned, and it's killing them. And when those numbers go down even further, that means that pest populations will be controlled even less yet again, which means more poisons are going to be required to control it. More poisoning of our environment. It's absolutely sickening. Now, I'm going to mention a couple of companies because, you know, I'm not going to just throw this all on you without too much of a solution. If you're able to, I don't endorse anybody specifically. You know, I'm not getting paid for talking about anything or for naming anyone. I'm not getting a commission. I'm not franchised with anybody. I'm just telling you the systems that I use, and maybe you can use it too or something like it. The first one is Berkey, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of. You pour your water through it. Coal filters are usually good for about 5 years, and chemical filters that filter out all of the chlorine and fluoride and other metals and toxins and chemicals if you use city water. Usually good for about 1.5 years. But that's only if you only process a gallon at a time. If you're doing 1 gallon a day, that's how long it'll last. That's what they normally don't tell you. So if you're doing 2 gallons a day, it becomes like 3.5 years for the coal filters, and then like 8 months for the chemical filter, and it goes down from there. You get the idea. So if you want to use a system like Berkey to purify water, I would even run bottled water through it. Another thing is like a Pelican system, which is a whole house unit, and those are usually good for about 5 years or 600,000 gallons, whichever comes first. And the filters, replacement filters, typically cost about $170 to $200, and the unit itself is going to run you like what, $1,200 to $1,700, but it filters all the water that runs through the house. So, you know, if you're buying a house, that might be something to look into. Pelican also makes units that attach to like faucets or shower heads and things like that, because keep in mind that even if you're not drinking this water, you're still bathing in it, and your skin absorbs chemicals. Look at all this crap in the woods here. This is terrible. Looks like someone's old playset or something that they dumped out here. Yeah, there's a slide over there. Anyways, you're still absorbing those chemicals into your skin. Your skin is an organ. It is porous. And you're still exposing yourself to contaminants that way. Think about that. I don't know how much those units cost, because I don't use the ones that attach right to your faucets, but it's an option. Like, let's say if you had the Berkey system, you can't afford something like a Pelican. If you had the Berkey and you wanted to get the Pelican shower head, as an example, something to think about. And like I said, you know, these people aren't paying me. I'm not getting like franchising dollars or a free filter or whatever the hell for throwing that out. I'm just making a couple of examples of some things that you might want to use, because we can't keep drinking that poison. We're either drinking contaminated water from the ground, or we're drinking water that's been contaminated deliberately by the city and their processing. And they could filter it. They could filter it after it's been processed, but they don't. They add a bunch of chemicals to it, and those chemicals are no better for you than if you were drinking water pumped out of the ground. So any thoughts on anything I had to say here? You can go ahead and put your thoughts in the comments section down below. Share it with the other viewers, get some dialogue going. Tell me what you think. Please give the video a thumbs up if you got something out of it. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're new to the channel, check out some of the other videos. And hit the notifications icon. Hopefully it still works, because YouTube has been giving this channel a very hard time. It's difficult to reach out to people anymore. It's difficult to even get videos loaded. With their new YouTube beta, even loading videos has become very difficult. If you'd like to tip the channel, there are links for that down below. I would appreciate it. Every little bit helps. And I do have another channel called Coffee Talk. If you wanted to check me out over there, I would appreciate that as well. So, as it always says, stay frosty, folks, and thanks for watching.